Hello, it's the Friday Talkie. Take 5 billion. My hair's wet. I just got out of the shower. I'm all hot and bothered and slightly damp. Interpret that however you will. In fact, don't. That's probably quite rude. What am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about the retro gaming event at Vergeer's shop in Spalding, GameLink. I have already shown you a video of the event, which was a very random thing, kind of chaotic. Most of the time you didn't know what you were looking at. Sometimes it was just pointing at my feet. But I want to talk about it a bit because it's worth talking about, and lots of people have talked about it already. So first of all, I'm going to tell you who was there. I'm just looking at the list. I've linked all of these from the actual event video, but I'm going to name them because I want to. So there. Vergeer 83, Angel Murphet, which is his wife, who wasn't really a YouTuber then, but she's got herself a channel now. Good. Keep it up. Retro Rewind, Dave. Replay Retro, Matt. X-File 2708. I never know how to pronounce. Is it the Gebs or the Jebs 24? Retro Bob 2084. Is it Dan Central or Dance Central? Interghost, Jurassic Junkie, Junior D 1975. Well, I'm going to pronounce it Airwolf, even though it's spelled slightly differently. Ninja Bear Hug, Secret Game Room, Gamers Keep, The Devils 28, Tojo 841, Shock 16, Arty Girl Ziggy 15. This isn't sweat, it's from the shower. Right, yes. Now, I knew a lot of those already, and some I didn't. Some I looked up after the event because, like, they were there. I thought, I don't know that person, and I looked them up. I have to say, I mean, I've said it in the last video, I was really tired while I was there. Absolutely. I mean, by the end of the day, I was so completely spaced out, I barely knew what was going on, but I was having fun. And I should say, I'm actually, and this is something that Interghost mentioned when he did a video, it is really easy to talk on camera. You know, you get used to it and you can sit and go blah blah blah. But in person, some of us, and myself included, are actually quite shy. So I didn't actually speak to everyone who was there, and I should just sort of say, you know, I'm actually a bit shy. It's like if people come up to me and talk to me, I will talk back and talk till the cows come home quite often, and if they don't, I'm not one for approaching people because I am shy like that. So honestly, if I didn't speak to you, I wasn't being ignorant. It's not that I didn't want to, I just didn't know what to say. And there are a few people I didn't talk to who, I don't know if they even knew who I was. Some of them I didn't know who they were. But it was, I mean, the atmosphere was absolutely fantastic.
I'm back.
Where was I? Yeah, so I mean, I went there with Dave, Retro Rewind. Big thanks, Dave. Great fun, as always. He's a great guy and always good company. I'm not sure what the time was when we rolled up there. We were quite early. X-File 2708 and Junior D 1975 were already there. I think there were some others. And then people just kind of steadily poured in. So in the end there were, well, I can identify about 19 or so, maybe 20 YouTubers. And then there were a load of people who were YouTubers who I don't think I know who they were. And then a bunch of locals as well. So there were easily 30, 35, I don't think there were 40 people there. It was very lively. And of course there was the gaming competition thing, which I didn't enter myself. I was so spaced out, I thought I'm just not going to be able to do anything except embarrass myself. But I had a lot of fun watching. It was like everyone just played games, going for the high score on various games, and so they had a kind of a league table thing. That went over the whole 2 days. We only stayed for the first day, so much chattering. I mean, just loads, everyone talking to everyone. And here's the thing, I have gone on record, and I will say it again, as saying Replay has a hell of a lot to live up to in terms of fun. And there's the thing, Replay is a very, very different thing. You know, it's an exhibition, it's really big. If you're just interested in the hardware and manufacturers, you know, developers and whatever, or want to see old, classic, rare hardware, and you want to be anonymous, Replay is fantastic and huge. In terms of size, yeah, can't be beat in the UK that I'm aware of, a retro event. But for fun, here's the thing, that the GameLink event had three really important things. It had stuff you could buy, which is great because it's so cool to be able to go to a retro store with lots of stuff and just be able to rummage through and find really cool stuff and buy it. It had the gaming, so you know there was the competition, which was fun, and it had, this is what really sets it apart from Replay. It had people who you knew, or I knew, and like quite a few of them. Where Replay, you're anonymous. GameLink, here's just this bunch of YouTubers, and you're like, I know you, and you, and you, and it's fantastic. It's, I mean, I'm going to use the word intimate, and I don't mean that in a sexual way. As an event, it was a lot more intimate than Replay, and in the end, I mean, it was a party. Oh, that's what it felt like. It was a retro gaming party with a bunch of people who either knew each other right from the word go, or if they didn't, pretty well knew each other by the end. You know, just so much fun. And lots of people have said, we got to do this again. And this is part of why I wanted to do this video, because Martin is doing it again. He's I think it's October. Go and check out, and this, I'm actually going to make this my shout out as part of this chat. I'm not going to turn the camera around. I'm just going to say, Murphadurf83. Go check out his channel. It's all about his shop, GameLink, in Spalding. He has got details there of the next event, which will be in October. I can't say if I'm going to be there or not. Don't know yet. You never know what's going to happen between now and then. But if it's even half as much fun as this previous event, if you can go, I really, really recommend you go, because it is fantastic. Brilliant people, brilliant shop, and just, you know, if he can get a bunch of YouTubers in there again like last time, and I fully expect that he will, I expect there will be a lot of people, possibly more, there being the publicity now, a bunch of people who've shown how good it is. Go! That's really all I can say about that. Too much fun, highly recommended. Check out his channel. There, I'm links down there to his channel, and the other people who were there who I could identify. There are some people who I spoke to who I'm not entirely sure who that. Chompster 2000. I chatted with a guy who I believe his name is Chompster 2000, but I can't find his channel, so don't know. Nice guy. We sat and ate chips in the gazebo while Martin played drums. Yeah. So that's that. I could go on for hours. Telephone's ringing though, back in a minute. God! I don't mind being interrupted by the phone, but I prefer it when it's for someone who actually lives here. Grr! Okay, second part of this video. Tag response. I said I would do it, and so I'm going to do it. This is a response to Mark Vergeer's What's Your Gamer's Vacation Survival Kit tag, because it's a really cool tag. And it's all about, what do you take with you when you go on holiday for gaming and such like? What do you take? I've got a variety of stuff that I take, and what I actually take varies depending on how long the holiday is going to be. So if, fuck me, phone again, back in a minute. Do you know what's worse than being interrupted by the phone whilst making a video, and being interrupted by the phone whilst making a video when it's someone who doesn't, or for someone who doesn't live here? Is being interrupted by the phone when you're making a video when they don't actually wait for you to get to the phone. Bastards! It rang about 3 times and then stopped. I bet it was for someone who doesn't live here as well. I bet it was the same person. You, out there, Malaysian call centre, piss off! Trying to make a video. Now then. Where was I? Yes, holiday survival gaming thing, tag. What do I take with me on holiday? Varies depending on the length of the holiday. I'll show you something I absolutely always take. Without fail. Either that, the Game Boy Micro SP, but not Game Boy Micro, Game Boy Advance SP, or the Game Boy Micro. I've always got one of them with me. It varies which one I take. Occasionally I will take the Nintendo DS because you can play Game Boy Advance games on it, but I don't like it as much. I prefer the Game Boy. The DS has got the nicer screen, but it's less pocketable, and I find the buttons really bloody awkward. You've got a nice distance between these. You can press them, and you can press one without pressing the other. But I do have a problem with the DS on some games where I find I'm pressing more than one button at once, and I haven't got big fat fingers. So it really annoys me, so I usually just take one of those. And I will always have one or the other of those with me if it's just, say, a couple of days, a long weekend or whatever. And I've got a little, I don't know where it is, somewhere around here, a little pack that I've got about 20 Game Boy Advance cartridges in, and each of those are like, or a lot of those are compilations. They're like retro gaming compilations with 4 or 5 different retro arcade games on them, which is great because basically I've got a whole arcade in my pocket, which is fantastic. Also, I take either, God, that's dusty, that, which is, this is the old original fat PSP, and I've got the custom firmware on this. I don't play PSP games on it at all. I've got a lot of emulators on it, and I play them. It is a really cool machine for emulators and stuff. Or I sometimes take that, which this one is I don't know if it's from Hong Kong. It's an Asian one anyway, just because it was cheap. And I take this for playing PSP games, because it's got the up-to-date firmware where this hasn't. So I've invariably got one or the other of those. If I'm planning to spend time on the beach and the weather is good, any one of those has a problem in that in bright sunlight you really struggle seeing the screen. So if it's a really nice bright sunny day, we've got good weather, I like to have that, and if I've got my man bag with me, I chuck this in it. Game Boy Pocket, no backlight, doesn't rely on a backlight, and there's only one game I bother putting in it, and that's race driving. And it's perfect for on the beach. You know, it's a cheap piece of kit. You're not going to worry too much if you get sand in it and kill it, because you pick another one up for a £5, and the perfect screen as well. Actually, I mean, a Neo Geo Pocket Color is also excellent for on the beach, in that it's got the reflective screen with no backlight, so that's great for in sunlight as well. But it's something I would be more worried about getting sand in that than I would be about it in this. So I take this. Other stuff that I take. I frequently take this little doofer. It's my MDA Pro, and it's technically it's a phone. I take it because of the sat nav on it, which is getting on a bit now. It's got Copilot in it, but this thing will also run emulators, which is kind of cool. There's a few emulators on it. It's got an Amiga emulator, which is great, though it quite often it's awkward about the keyboard, which is a shame. But I've often got that with me, and that's good for gaming. And I always, without fail, never go anywhere on holiday without it. Have this, which is my little Advent T101 or something or other. No, I can't remember what it's called actually. 4211, that's it, netbook. With a, I have a mobile broadband dongle, which, depending on where we are, varies between extremely good and fast to absolutely rubbish and not worth bothering. Sometimes you just can't get a connection at all. But I've got MAME on that, which, I mean, it's not a powerful laptop stroke netbook at all, but it'll play the classics, and sometimes that's all you need. Star Wars, really. It will play Star Wars. I just have to remember to take a mouse with me, because trying to play that game with the touchpad is bordering on impossible. So yes, I've always got those, one or other or some of those, and invariably I've got me iPhone with me as well. I've got it on me absolutely everywhere I go, and I've got a couple of games in there as well. So yeah, I think that covers it. Never ever on holiday without some form of gaming. It's usually some form of Game Boy, invariably a Game Boy. Be it the Pocket or the Micro or the SP. Sometimes got a PSP or two. Sometimes a DS, sometimes the MDA Pro. Always the laptop. Because you can't... I mean, the funny thing is, I take some or all, no, never all, you know, I'll take those along, stuff with me. Hardly ever use any of them, to be honest. The holidays being what they are, and I'm, you know, always with Andrea. If you're in good company, you don't need video games, really. Good location, good company. Very, very rare I need them. Sometimes I'll play games if Andrea's asleep and I can't sleep. I'll sit there and play games. Once in a blue moon I will sit in, where was it? Somewhere in Hull I was sitting playing Galaxians in a shopping centre while Andrea was in Boots. That is the beauty of the Micro. You can have the Game Boy Micro on you all the time. So I sat and played Galaxian and Gallagher in a few weird places. But the PSP is actually really, really good for longer stays. I mean, I find it fairly... The PSP, to me, it doesn't work at home. It makes no sense whatsoever to play at home, because the games are fairly big. Too big, I think, for when you're sitting on the bus. They're too involved. They're like a PS2 game, and you don't have the time or the ability to dedicate that much attention to them. So for that kind of out and about gaming, the PSP doesn't make sense. At home it doesn't make sense, because if you want that kind of gaming, well, play a PS2 or a PS3. Why do it on a PSP? But they make absolute perfect sense when you're on holiday, because you haven't got your PS2 or your PS3 or your Xbox or whatever else with you. And that's where they come into their own. So I do, if it's going to be a long, you know, a few days or a week or something like that, I will take that with me. Yep, SD card filled up. That was a long rambling waffle, wasn't it? I'll edit that a bit, probably. So, what's coming up on the channel? Well, I'm as you know, I'm doing the it's turning into an LP or Let's Play or Long Play or something of what's it called? Shenmue. I don't know how far I'm going to take that or for how long. viewings of it are starting to drop off, and I'm not surprised, because I mean it's a long game and there's only so much of me playing that game badly and talking bollocks you can watch without getting bored. So I will do a few more of those yet and see how it goes. But yeah, viewers are dropping off, and I expected that to happen. But given it's their bonus videos and not the main content, you know, I think it does no harm to do a few of those, so long as I'm doing all the other stuff as well. Yeah, I'm done with the Archimedes, as you know, for the time being. I had those 3 Mega Drive games, have no more Mega Drive ones to be doing at the moment. That Atari one was a one-off. I've got more Atari stuff, but I was kind of looking through them and thinking, that's rubbish, I don't want to play that, that's rubbish, there's nothing in there that I really want to play right now where I know I've got other good stuff. So, I think I'm going to do some ZX81 stuff next. Timex Sinclair 1000, for those of you in America. It is black and white, incredibly primitive, no audio, difficult to record because I've got to do it on a cathode ray tube. And it will cripple me because of the keyboard, but it should be interesting. And I'm thinking I'm going to start with some of the 1K games, and I use the term games loosely. You'll understand what I mean when you see them. That may be interesting, it may not. We shall see. I'm going to have a go. I think I'm done. Oh, I should say, yes, tag video, that's an open tag. So anyone who wants to do a tag response, by all means do. Okay, mad, rambling, waffling, disorganised video today. I'm kind of, well, as you know, I jumped straight out of the shower to do it, and I'm rushing because Andrea's going to be home from work in a minute. So it's a little bit, you know, it's never planned or scripted, but it's totally disorganised today. Okay, thank you for watching.